Hello and welcome to this podcast edition of Sam's Alternatives with me, Sam. Episode 52. Shortly I'll be chatting to Jayne from indie punk rock band from Sydney, Flowers For Jayne, who of course released their song Evil Minds back in October this year. Plenty of things happening, interviews coming up. So Saturday the 3rd of January, it's Heaven Alone. Then Thursday the 8th of January, Pendle Hill. Tuesday the 13th of January is Seek Misery. Sunday the 18th of January is Virtues. Saturday the 24th of January is Run Your Mouth. Sunday the 1st of February is New Age. Thursday the 12th of February will be Dead Skin. Tuesday the 17th of February in the Esky. Then we've got, of course, Sunday the 22nd of February, the Cooler Bars. Sunday the 1st of March is Greedy Bunch of Parasites. Saturday the 7th of March is Grimlock. Tuesday the 10th of March is Sheepdog Inc. And Sunday the 15th of March is Swords Bros. So plenty of interviews coming up. Alright, the top 2,600 best Aussie / New Zealand songs countdown has finished. So if you want to know the top 10, I'll quickly go through the top 10, just a bit of a refresh if people haven't seen what's made the top 10. So coming in at number 10, of course, was Never the One by Ocean Sleeper. At number 9 was Comethazine by Atlas. At number 8 was Meteorite by Disgust. 7 was, of course, Flesh and Rust by Seek Misery. At number 6 was, of course, Synthetic Heaven by Atlas. Number 5 was No Life in a Muir with Obnoxious. Number 4 was Never Have I Ever by Disgust. Number 3, The Matriarch, Total Buzzkill. Number 2, Forever Sinking, Ocean Sleeper. And, of course, number 1 was Bad Decisions by Red Hook. It was a tough top 5, top 10, top 20, everything, like so many great songs from New Zealand and Aussie bands released in the 2020 so far. Of course, Red Hook broke a record. The most songs from any band ever in the countdown was 25. Red Hook beat that with 27. Ocean Sleeper broke 2 records. The first Victorian band to finish top 26 countdowns in a row, but they also broke another record of finishing every position in the top 5 in a countdown. Number 1 in 2021, of course, number 3 in 2023, number 4 in 2024, number 5 in the top 1,000 best songs of bands and artists I've interviewed, and number 2 on the top 2,600 best Aussie / New Zealand songs of the 2020 so far. So yeah, it's been a great 2 weeks with the countdown. I've done enough countdowns for the time being. We'll do one at the end of 2026 for the best songs of 2026. Gigs coming up, of course, Outcast Festival, Saturday the 17th of January. Machine on a Break, Iron Sky, Destroy Fierce, Jupiter the Giant, Space Goat, Anna and Verona Lights at Stay Gold. The other one I'm looking forward to is Dino Mosh, which is, of course, Ryan, who does Tyrannosaurus Rex radio show. That will feature bands like, of course, The Last Martyr, Alara, Scattered Limbs, Body Prison, Dead Skin, Ghost Seeker, Bitter Kind, Abreact. The names just go on. So if you haven't got tickets for those shows, I would strongly suggest you get tickets to those, as well as Red Hook, In Art's Wake, Head Wreck, and the Amity Affliction, of course, at the Deck in Traralgon on the 19th of March. What a lineup that is. We need to support live music, especially here in the regions. It's awesome to see. I never thought I'd see the day In Heart's Wake and Red Hook play Gippsland. Like, I know they've both played Unify over at Tarnlower, obviously, but in the actual Latrobe Valley, West Gippsland area. But yeah, I'm super keen to see Headwreck as well. They are one of my favourite bands at the moment. They, of course, released the EP earlier this year called Attitude Adjustment. They did pretty well in the end of year countdown too, Headwreck. Not as many entries as Red Hook, obviously, but they had 8, I believe. Bingo, obviously, Philo Fish, both featured off that EP, as did Plan Z, so keen to see them. But hope everyone had a great Christmas, of course. Nearly in the new year. That's a little bit hard to believe. I guess once Christmas rolls around, then New Year's is the next one. not doing much for New Year's, working a split shift at work, which will keep me busy, of course. And then, of course, in January the 9th, it will be my birthday. Got the Nicolas Cage Fighter All Ages gig at Singing Bird on the Friday, which will be awesome. Sick lineup of bands on that. Nicolas Cage Fighter, Virtues, Cultus, Iocaste, False to Comedy, and of course, Bitter Kind. If you haven't got your tickets for that show or any of the shows on the Nicolas Cage Fighter tour, make sure you get tickets for that as well. So, Flowers for Jayne, obviously an indie pop punk band from Sydney. Of course, the members Jane and also Phil used to be in the band Lime Spiders as well. This was set up by, of course, Glenn Fogwill, who does the Australian radio promotion interview lineups and also is the vocalist of Shotgun Mistress, of course. He's lined this up. This is about the 30th interview I think Glenn has set up in the last 3 years, which is incredible. He's an amazing person, does so much awesome work for the local and live music scene. I haven't caught up with Glenn in quite some time though. I want to catch up with him, but obviously both live pretty busy lives. So, yeah, we catch up when we can, of course. So, of course, the other thing I just want to touch base on quickly is the views and total watch time hours on my YouTube channel. So, I only need 60 more views and 3 hours of watch time to reach 1,200 watch hour time and also 25,000 views. I'm hoping to get there by New Year's Eve. I reckon we can do it. This episode obviously will be uploaded tomorrow at some stage with Jane from Flowers for Jayne. And then, of course, as I mentioned, got an interview next Saturday, which will be 7 p.m. Victorian time, 4 p.m. WA time, because heaven alone, obviously from WA, so I had to do the time difference with the bands because, yeah, if I did 1 o'clock Victorian time, it'd only be 10 o'clock. So I think 7 p.m.'s a perfect time to do that. But what are people's plans for New Year's Eve? You having a quiet one? You going to Melbourne? Are you beyond the valley? There's a whole heap of things happening over New Year's. I see King Parrot actually, might mention that now. King Parrot are playing The Last Chance, a New Year's Eve party on Wednesday, the 31st of December. King Parrot, amazing band. They featured quite a few times in the top 2,600 best Aussie / New Zealand songs of the 2020 so far. Countdown, they had 6 entries, I believe. It's a Rort was in there, Fuck You and the Horse You Ride In On, and a few others were in there as well. Still haven't seen King Parrot live. I really would love to see him live, but every time they seem to do a gig, I have something else on that night, which generally is what happens, or another gig is happening the same night. But as you say, can't be in two places at once. Well, you could, but it'd be pretty hard to do, especially if they're sort of suburbs away, the two gigs. Like if they were in Brunswick, if one was at Stay Gold and one was at Bergie, you could do it. But if one was at, let's say, Stay Gold and one was at, Singing Bird, might be a little bit more difficult to be in two places at once. All right, so just waiting for Jane to jump on and start this interview. All good. I'm in early. I thought I'd just do a bit of a recap before we start the interview. I generally do that with most of my podcast episodes. Just do a recap of what has happened since last episode. Veiled Arch also dropped Rusty Spoon last Sunday. I thought I'd drop that. Shady Maze are about to drop their new single on the 3rd of January as well, which is, funnily enough, next Saturday. So I love Shady Maze. Everything they've released so far has been absolute gold. And yeah, I can't wait to hear this song. Of course, Do Ya, You and I, A Moment of Madness, Killer Ballerina. Jane's in the lobby. I'll let Jane in and we'll start this interview, as they say. Hello, Jane. Hello? Oh, oh, hello? Hello? Oh, hello?
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you now.
All right. I don't know what happened there.
Nah, technology probably is the way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
You too, Sam?
Yeah. How are we doing this afternoon?
Oh, just
Yeah.
hanging out, watching movies.
Oh, I like the sound of that Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
How is it up in Sydney? Is it nice weather or is it cold?
No, it's beautiful.
It's pretty nice down here in Gippsland. It's about 25 degrees and sunny, so sort of temperature I
Oh my God,
like.
I was down in Melbourne. I was down in Melbourne like a few weeks ago, and it was like 16,
Yeah,
16 degrees. I was like, what?
that sounds like typical Melbourne weather. Hot one day, cold the
Yeah.
next.
Mm-hmm. Four
No.
seasons in one day.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of describing it, actually. I'd say,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much anytime you come to Melbourne, you need to pack everything jacket, gloves, because you just don't know what the temperature or the weather's going to be like.
Ski poles.
Yeah, snowboarding, not
Mm-hmm.
that I snowboard because I'd probably fall.
Defibrillator. Antarctic survival kit.
It's not. It's awesome to finally chat to Jane from Flowers for Jane, who dropped Evil Minds almost to this day 2 months ago. Almost.
Yes, pretty close. Yeah,
But I think it was the 31st of October, if my
it was.
calculations
It
are
was
right.
Halloween. Halloween. Yeah,
No,
what a perfect day to drop an evil mind.
that's actually a good lead in there, isn't it? Because Evil Minds, Halloween, it works in perfectly.
It did. Yes.
No, I'm a big fan of Flowers for Jane, and funnily
Oh
enough,
wow.
Evil Minds was the first song I actually stumbled across from the band.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to Glenn Fogwill, of course, from Australian Radio Promotion, and also
Mm.
vocalist of Shotgun Mistress.
The who? Sorry, the Shotgun
Oh,
Mistress.
sorry, the band that Glenn's the vocalist of is Shotgun Mistress, but he
Oh
also
yeah, right, right. Yeah.
but also does the Australian radio promotion. And this is how this interview came about. Glenn messaged me and said, "Did I want to interview Flowers for Jane?" And I'm like, absolutely.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here as well. Ah. But yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a general chat. We're going to find a bit out about Flowers for Jane. Of course, Lime Spiders, both Jane and Phil used to be in the band Lime Spiders, I realised as well.
That's right. Back in oh my God, I'll be showing my age. Yeah, back in the 90s, me and Phil. We were actually lucky that we got to tour with the Black Crows on their first Australian tour. So that was pretty exciting. So like almost like coming from nowhere and then landing in the Lime Spiders and then landing on some of the biggest stages in Australia. It was pretty awe-inspiring.
Well, and at that time as well, Jane, like the Black Crows were big. Like at that sort
Mm,
of late 80s, early 90s, that was their peak period.
absolutely, yeah. And we were actually handpicked for the tour. We received a fax from LA only a couple of weeks after I joined the band, and then we get this fax from LA from Black Crowes management saying the band would like you to be their support band on the Australian tour, and we were like, "Well, wow, okay, okay, well, let's do that then, shall we?" Yeah.
I think that'd be more of a shock when you get an email like that because, like, you don't know, like, obviously it was not someone trying to play a trick, it was actually legitimate, but sometimes you gotta stop and
Yeah,
think, wow, that was something I wasn't expecting to hear, that a band like the Black Crows asking you to be the support act for them on their Australian tour, like,
yeah. Oh, it was crazy because it was like I was still getting over the shock of being selected to play lead guitar with the Lime Spiders, and then the next thing the Black Crows come along, and I had to pinch myself a couple of times because, like, because I came from other bands that pretty much play in the corner of pubs, playing to the publican and their dog, those sorts of things. And then I've gone from that to playing to 5,000 people a night, and I was like, wow, and it didn't seem real. Even when I was doing it, it was just it was crazy time.
it's almost like you're in a dream and you're just waiting to wake up thinking this is all just in your mind
Yeah,
or all in the dream, and then it's
yeah.
not. It's actually
No,
factually real.
it definitely wasn't a dream because I woke up with a Jack Daniels in my hand. So it was, yeah, it was real. The Jack Daniels was in my hand, and yeah.
I'll definitely pinch myself if that happened. And like,
Mm,
I'm not in a band, obviously, but if I was in a band and I got to support any band
yeah,
out there, I'd probably pinch myself and say, I've got to wake up now because this doesn't seem to be real. But
yeah, yeah. No, it was real, all right. The hangovers were real. Um, and other stuff, probably stuff I can't say. Um, you know, um, this is a children's show, right? No, right.
oh, I don't know about. There's some stuff I've said, Jane, that probably wouldn't be classed as children's stuff.
No, I'm joking, right? But yeah. What did they say? What happens on tour stays on tour. So
Yep. And
that's
what stays in the bloopers part of this show stays in the bloopers part is probably what I would say as well. Someone actually said to me I should put together a bloopers thing of this show and just post it on YouTube and just see all the mistakes I made, because I reckon it'd be an hour's worth easily.
all right. Only an hour.
Yeah, or maybe a bit more.
Yeah, right. Well,
Like
why
the
not? I mean, it's fun, isn't it? Having uncensored, uncut, unedited footage is, it's real. It shows the real human factor of things. It shows what actually happens live. So
And as many times as I've done this before, people think, oh, you can't make mistakes. I'm like, I think you'd find I'd make millions of mistakes.
musicians make mistakes all the time on stage. It's how you recover from your mistakes is the trick. That's the professional part. And I just laugh them off now. I used to get very concerned. I get that mistake look on my face. And but even the best in the world make mistakes. So
The
yeah, you're
the
in good
interest,
company.
well, yeah, and I mean, any band out there that says they've never made a mistake on stage, like forgot the lyrics or haven't had a string break or whatever it might have been on the guitar, if they say they haven't had that happen, yeah, I think,
I've had two strings break in one song,
oh,
and yeah, no, that was difficult. But you get through the song.
mm.
And people hardly even know, even the other band members. And then you finish the song, and they look at you, and you got bits of hair hanging off your guitar, and they, oh, did you break a string? Oh, yeah, about in the first chorus. So mm.
The other thing is also, if a band makes a mistake and then says to me after the show, like if I'm talking to, they say, "Oh, I've made a mistake during one of the songs," I'm like, I actually wouldn't even realize that the band's made a mistake or a member has, because I wouldn't know what a mistake during a song or a performance would be. So,
Yeah. Well, there was actually a mistake on the first album. the drummer made a mistake, and we listened back to it, and we went, well, that kind of works anyway. So we kept it, and then people would go like comment on that song. It was actually Insomnia from Dangerous Woman album, and people would go, "Oh wow, that part where the drummer does that thing, geez, that was clever." Even Anton Haygock, and he's like a mixing engineer god, um, he thought it was on purpose as well. So he
I
said, "Oh, that part where the drums does that little syncopated bit, that was awesome." Yeah, I said, "Well, that was a mistake."
so I that's very, very interesting, and also the fact that they thought it was part of the album that
Mm, mm,
yeah, that's
yeah.
I'll have to go back and
Well,
listen to Dangerous
yeah,
Woman.
have a listen to Insomnia, um, in the outro choruses, and you'll hear it, but you wouldn't pick it unless, some stupid bitch in the band told you about it.
Well, I listened to Dangerous Woman earlier. And I listened to all
Yeah,
the Flowers for Jane stuff because before an interview, I always do a listen back of the discography, or at least to their latest single. And I didn't pick it up in Insomnia, but if I listen back to it now, I will probably
yeah.
pick it up.
You'll probably pick it up, and you'll see why we kept it as well. Yeah.
I'll do that straight after this interview. I'll listen back
All right.
to
Yeah.
Insomnia and
Send me a text afterwards. Send me a text afterwards. Tell me what you thought. Like, yeah.
all right, I'll make sure I do that tonight. Definitely. I've got a lot of stuff to do tonight. So that's on my books or on my paper, whatever you want to call it, of things to do. So I'll listen back to Dangerous Woman and Insomnia, and I'll shoot through an
Mm,
email or text and let you know what I think.
sure.
All right, so Jane, pretty much the interview is it even an interview? It's more of a chat or just two people chatting about music and Flowers for Jane. Then at the end, Jane actually can ask Sam a question.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
I'll give you a bit of time to think. I don't like putting people right on the spot at the start of the interview. I don't think that's very fair.
I
So
can
you,
ask you a question now. I can ask you a question now.
oh, you
Like,
can if you
what?
want.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Well, what inspired you to start this podcast?
I'll never get sick of answering that question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I hate answering about it is it does mention COVID every time because that's sort of what,
Right.
yeah, that dreaded word that no one wants to remember.
I
So
call it the apocalypse.
that's one word I'd call it, Jane. I probably should keep this
Mhm.
PG rated, what else I would call it. But
Mm.
so I used to do a radio show at a community radio station in Gippsland from where I live in Warrigal, and that shut down due to COVID because of the lockdowns. We couldn't go in and do the radio shows. So there was two options: either record it from home, send it in, or just wait the 4 months till it opened up again. And I said, I can't do either. So I
Yeah.
thought, why not do a podcast?
Why not?
And at
And here you
first,
are.
it was an audio podcast, but in the last year, it's become a WebEx Zoom visual podcast. And from that day on, I've not looked back and I love every minute of it.
Oh, nice. Good on you. I think a lot of new things are born from the apocalypse.
Mm.
You know, I did a lot of writing during the apocalypse. In fact, I'm still recording songs that I wrote in the apocalypse. I wrote so much; it was amazing. Yeah.
And I think we had to adapt. Let's call it the apocalypse. You had to adapt during the apocalypse if people don't know what we're talking about. you should know what we're talking about. I think we
Yeah,
had to adapt so much because for so long we could catch up in person, or in Jane's case, in a band, you could go and jam together and play music and all that, but you had to adapt
yeah,
because there was the 5 kilometer rule, there was the not more than two people at your home sort of thing. So I think
yeah.
a lot of bands and musicians grew through that time.
Or some of them disbanded too,
Mm,
as well, unfortunately.
some,
That's I think the music industry suffered greatly because of all of that, because 2 years is a long time um in someone's life, and sure there was a lot of I'm sure there was a baby boom as well during that period. And I think people found other things to do with their life. And so after 2 years, and human beings get into a routine, of course, and they got into other routines other than going seeing bands, and we don't see as many pre-sales for tickets either for smaller shows. Um, yeah, but there was some venues that would do live streaming performances. So here we were just playing in venues to no one. It was, like you were doing a TV show.
mm,
So it was really different for performers that we had to adapt to new technologies, to new ways of doing things, and it was almost like doing countdown every gig, kind of thing.
yeah, I'd forgotten completely about the because it's 5 years nearly since that apocalypse, and I'd just forgotten
Mm,
completely about the whole live stream. You'd play a show, and it sort of goes up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the
yeah.
platform was. I've completely forgotten about that because it only feels like a year or so ago, but it's nearly 5 years since that
four
was.
years. four
Yeah.
years. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I
Pre-sales
haven't
were,
had to hold.
yeah.
No, it was hard. It was like because I was recording the Dangerous Woman album. We were recording the Dangerous Woman album in 2019. So it took 3 years to get to release that because there was no good time to release an album. And then when we did decide on a venue and a time to release, they hit us with, it was the last lockdown actually, they hit us with another lockdown.
Oh,
So all the momentum, everything was just totally lost.
it was a shit show. Pardon my language, but it was. I mean,
It was. It really was. It just, I'm surprised that, a lot of bands, I'm surprised that I made it through it, that Flowers For Jayne made it through it. I'm surprised a lot of other bands, especially ones who were just starting up at that time, you know. But it goes to show about this Australian resilience, though, as well. That a lot of us in the inner west in Sydney, we did push through, and we supported each other as well. Not in the sense that we supported each other on stage, we supported each other, behind the scenes, encouraging each other to keep going.
which I think's just as important as supporting your own band. I think helping each other
Mm,
out.
yeah,
I don't want to sound controversial and all that, but I'm sick of some bands and some industry people saying it's us versus them. It's not us versus them. Everyone's in it for the same reason, to help each other succeed.
mm. And world domination, of course.
Oh, yeah. Well, Australia's starting to do that. Well, they have the last 3 years. The music coming out of this country at the moment in all genres is phenomenal. Yeah, I've never seen Australia this dominant in music. Like they have been in the past, but not as dominant as what they are at the moment, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, and I think it's got to do with COVID as well a little bit because I think a lot of musicians. I know I practiced a lot and I kind of honed my songwriting as well during that period, and there was a lot to write about. A lot of subject matter, a lot of political stuff to write about, a lot of personal stuff to write about, a lot of community stuff to write about, um, medical stuff, all sorts of things, because it just really drew out a lot of emotions in a lot of people across a lot of sectors of society. And I
Mm.
think we grew as musicians and songwriters and to some respect performers, changed our way of doing things, changed our way of looking at the world. And I think it also gave us a bit more confidence to have a voice as well.
100% agree with that. Couldn't have said it better myself. Even though I'm not a
Well,
musician or in a band, but
it's all right. Yeah,
oh,
you can have an honorary title there.
I like that.
W,
Honorary. That's a good
honorary,
word. That's a word of the
honorary
day.
musician of the day. Yeah,
Oh, but no, I think everything Jane just said there, I 100% agree with. And you're right, there was a lot of stuff to write about during that period because there was
yeah.
a lot of emotions, there were a lot of stories, there were a whole lot of things. You could almost write two albums worth in that period.
I did.
Oh, well, sorry, yeah, you did. Sorry, I'd forgotten
I,
that.
I actually, I'm still recording stuff from that period.
Wow,
I still am. Actually, we're going into the recording studio in January to record two more singles, and they're actually songs I wrote in 2022, 2021, even.
so
You
four
know,
years ago, wow.
yeah, and I'm still drawing on that back catalogue of unreleased music that I've written, and then just bringing it back out again and rejigging it and making it even better. Um, and yeah, so I'm yet to write more material. Yeah, I write a little bit here and there, but nothing as prolific as during the apocalypse. But you have to get that material out first before you can write. It's like purging, you know. And so yeah, I got some more bangers coming up. Well, I hope they are. I hope people think they are. Couple of actually the next single was the sequel to Evil Minds. It was written
Ah,
at exactly the same time as Evil Minds. So uh, I don't know. Should I do a spoiler alert on this one, or I haven't
well,
even announced it to anyone?
no,
Uh,
maybe I'd love to do a spoiler, but I think it'd be best that you announce it when it actually happens because I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to save it for next year,
Yeah,
but I am putting together another tour though. I'm coming back down to Melbourne,
nice.
so yeah. But I got the Cherry Bar booked actually.
Oh, the old cherry bar. I've been there
Yeah,
once in the last 12 months and don't
have
get
you?
there
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, we should, yeah. What is it, in Little Collins Street or something like that?
It's a
Is that
little.
right?
I feel like you're right, Jane, yeah, because I always think it's
Yeah,
Little Burke, but Little Burke's further down Swanston, so I think you're right. It's Little Collins at the top.
Little Collins, yeah,
Because it used
yeah.
to be
Oh,
in like, it used to be a 2 minute walk from Flinders Street, because it was like in Flinders Lane or somewhere. Not that Little
ah,
Collins, even though Little
yeah,
Collins
right.
isn't that far from Flinders Street Station anyway, but.
That's right, yeah.
Now, who did I see there recently? I saw Carly Jewell and Midnight Devils there a couple of months ago, and they were really good live. I'd seen both of them before, but I'd forgotten how good the Cherry Bar actually was.
Mm, yeah. Well, I'm really happy to get in there. I'm told it's not easy to get a gig at the Cherry Bar, so
Yeah.
and I'm gonna add Adelaide as well. So
Nice.
next time round. So
Some good venues in Adelaide, some good music coming out of Adelaide as well, right at the moment.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
everywhere,
what, what,
everywhere. It's coming from everywhere,
mm.
and a lot of young bands coming through as well, which is great. And I like to support the young bands. Like I try and get a few, at least a younger, younger band, on the bill, you know, and that's great because it's well, music is intergenerational anyway. So I think we've got to start thinking about the next generation of musicians and start mentoring them and you know show them how it's done, you know, as well. And the etiquette that goes with things, and these things can be lost, you know, the old skills and everything that come with performance and just managing a band. So yeah, I like mentoring the younger bands coming through.
And I think it's important to start young as well. Like, I know there's a band out of Melbourne called Civilians that I interviewed 3, 4 episodes ago, and they are literally still in high school. They're like 15 and 16-year olds. And I think that
Mm,
is the opportunistic time to start a band because you're still young and
yeah,
like just have to look at someone like Silverchair, similar age when Frog Stomp was released, and look how big they
so
became. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I felt like
it
high school.
was. I think just about every music. I started when I was in primary school, playing guitar, and high school. Yeah, we had the high school bands. You know, I think we're going to call our band Throbbing Gristle or something like that, something ridiculous. Yeah, and I actually played traditional brass. Actually, at high school, I played trombone as
Wow.
well. Yeah, so a bit classically trained and all that sort of stuff.
Can imagine the trombone would have been quite a interesting but at times challenging instrument to play, I would imagine.
Yeah, because it's a real ear instrument. You know, you pretty much have to have perfect pitch. You know, to be able to play trombone. Because it's not like a valve instrument where you push a valve on. It's different positions on the slide, and I mean you get a fair idea where the positions are, but you got to fine tune it with your ear as well.
Learning a lot about instruments and music and writing and all in the space of this chat, and we haven't even asked a question yet, but hey, that's generally what these interviews happen, is that I go off on some different topic to what we're meant to be talking about, but it's all important stuff though. That's what we've got to
Oh,
remember.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, ask me a question.
All
Go on.
right,
Do
stop the
your worst.
suspense, Sam. How
Yes.
did Flowers for Jane form?
Right. So, um, officially, um, I actually moved to Vancouver, in 2018 in Canada. And when I was there, I was actually writing and writing and writing. And I had a huge break from music, and I decided, oh my God, I want to record again. You know, I was writing some really good songs. And so I rang up Phil Hall, the former bass player of the Lime Spiders, and a chap called Jess Chumper, who I actually played with in the school band in high school. But he was playing cornet back then, but he's probably one of the best percussionists in the country. And I said to the guys, I said, look, I have some songs. I think they're pretty good. Please have a listen if you like them. Let's record them. So they came back to me and said, yeah, we really like these. So I found a recording studio in Vancouver, and the boys went into Zen Studios in Sydney. And so we just file shared for the first four singles. The first four singles, we had not even been in a room together. We'd never played together, and we released four singles, right? Yeah.
That's pretty
So
impressive.
pretty impressive, yeah. And I said to the boys, look, I really would love to record an album because I had heaps of material. And Phil said, okay, yeah, let's do that. But you've got to come back to Australia, right? That they preferred to be in the studio with me. And I said, yeah, sure. So the intent was to just come back to Australia, record the album, and then head back to Canada and mix it and everything over there and release it over there. But then the apocalypse hit, didn't it?
Of
So
course.
yeah, so I was stuck in Australia. So it was kind of like, all right then. So I had to get a friend to sell everything that I had in Canada and move everything out of the room that I had. And it just went on from there. Okay, so we did the album together. We released it. We launched it together. Yeah,
Yep. That's that's a lot of
that's the
information.
story.
That's a great
Yeah.
story, though, to be honest, and an
Mm,
very, very interesting story. That's why I love
yeah.
asking that question: is when the band formed and how they formed. But yeah, and what impressed me most though there was about the four singles being released, but you weren't actually in the same room. Like you
We'd
were in
never played together
Vancouver
before.
and hadn't
Yeah,
played together. That's very impressive.
yeah. It wasn't until it wasn't until June that so we started recording in like February 2019. No, hang on. Yeah, February 2019. And it wasn't until June 2019 that we actually played in a room together.
Four
So for
months.
4 or 5 months, yeah, we just did everything at a distance.
Well, that gives 100% credit from me to Flowers for Jane for doing that. I already have that much respect for the band, but now hearing that, I have even more respect.
It's pretty much a super group, and just really good musicians. You can't get it, and plus recording engineers. We had really good recording engineers in both countries, so that's always very helpful.
Yeah. And very important too. If they're good at what they do and they're great,
Hmm.
then yeah. There's some absolute gems here in Australia that I've heard of that people have used and you never hear a bad word spoken about them. And I think
Hmm.
if you get the right person, you're going to go a long way.
Well, I think that's testament to like I think you've listened to Fade Away as well, the single before, um, and
It,
then before Evil Minds, and then It's Never Easy was the first of the three singles this year, and it was a new um, it was a new production team as well. Um, Andrew Beck from Damien Gerard's. Um, he actually started as like an intern, like a assistant engineer. I can't remember the studio in Seattle, but he worked on the first the debut Soundgarden album
oh,
um,
wow.
back in the day, yeah. And then that's Andrew Beck, and then you've got Anton Hagop, of course, who did Silverchair's Diorama and Vulture Street by Powderfinger. So he's the mixing engineer, and then guy George Giordis from Little Wing Sound, who Anton says that his mastering makes his mixing sound 10% better, and that's a big thing coming from Anton. So it's just the, can I say, the dream team?
What?
I've put together a dream team, and I'm keeping that same production team for this particular run. I'm keeping the same studio drummer, but I'm using a different bass player this time around. Actually, the original bass player from the Electric Pandas um, is playing with me now. So I'm hoping that we do just as good a job with these singles as we did with the last couple.
Wow. Well, as you said, Jane, dream team. I mean, the person that's worked on Silverchair's Diorama and Vulture Street by Powderfinger
Mm,
and Soundgarden's debut album. I mean, that in
yeah,
itself, you're in very good hands there.
yeah. He showed me so much. He taught me so much, Anton. And he even invited me because I had recorded the guitars already at the other studio, but Anton rang me up after he got the stems and he said, "Oh, Jane, I think you can do better than that." So I said, "I think you're right," and he invited me to his own personal studio to record like 90% of the guitar tracks for Dangerous Woman. And so I was sitting in this little studio, and there's an ARIA award sitting there, and there's like, what do you call it? Oh, those big things they do with the CDs of the bands when they get platinum status and stuff like that. The big things
Plaques?
on the wall. Yeah, so there was, to the left of me there was Silverchair and Powderfinger, and then a whole line of guitars on
Wow.
the other wall. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous, and he pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to get the absolute best out of me, and it does reflect in the production value of the album. And I worked with Bob Spencer from the Angels and Skyhooks as well for "You're Not What I'm Looking For," the single.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
worked with Spencer on that one. So after learning so much from Anton and Bob, now I'm in the absolute producer's chair now, and producing some of the best work I've ever done in my life.
I can agree to that. I think everything that I've heard from Flowers for Jane so far, I'm really keen to hear what the future will bring from the band because I've enjoyed Evil Minds. I've enjoyed everything that I've listened to, and yeah,
Thank you.
I like the sound too. Like I feel like the pop punk sound here in Australia sort of went not on hiatus for a year or two, but it sort of came back 2 or 3 years ago, and now I feel like it's as good as it was before, if not
Yeah,
better. Especially from Sydney. There's a lot of good bands out of Sydney that are pop punk that are really starting to make a name for themselves, which is awesome to see.
yeah. No, it's a good genre, and I really enjoy it. That's why Anton. One of the reasons Anton decided to work with me back in 2019. Um, he kind of liked the fact that they had the really like raucous, cutting edge, hard edge guitars with some real melody, you know, about it and interesting lyrics. Um, so getting that balance between, a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of grunge, little bit of punk, but making it commercial, because you don't hear a lot of punk music on mainstream radio, you know, anymore. But having the pop punk genre or the pop punk rock genre, um, I was even lucky. Evil Minds got picked up on commercial radio as
Wow.
well. Yeah, I'm still blown away. Rebel FM. Um, they got 30 syndicated radio stations. I got picked up on their homebrew as well, and I got picked up on Aussie Music Weekly. That went out to over 50 community radio stations. And I want to extend on that, grow on that. I'm always feeling that I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I don't want to. Like, oh my God, I've got to produce, write, or arrange a song as good as Evil Minds to stay in that, you know, that clique that, where everyone's, yeah, I want to play this song. It's a good song. But I'm not going to put any pressure on myself because the song is going to come out the way it was meant to come out, the way it's going to come out. It's not going to be better. It's not going to be worse. It's going to be a song worth its own value, standalone. I think that's the thing about Flowers for Jayne songs. Each song could individually stand on its own. It doesn't have to be supported by other songs. So I'm really proud of that.
And as you should be, and that's what I say to musicians and bands. I say, whatever music you put out there to the world, anyone that puts out a song, album, EP should be very proud of what they're doing because, as Jane said, I mean, being picked up on some commercial stations and community radio stations, and punk music used to be everywhere on commercial radio, but not as much
Yeah.
now.
No, no, it was kind of like because Evil Minds it's a real political song. It has some very strong, pointed messages, um, against Trump and Netanyahu and all the other evil minds that occupy our governments at the moment. War torn. It's really a war torn world um, at the moment, much more than it's ever been, I believe, and not just war torn as in military, but torn as in the fabric of family has been torn apart as well. And I really wanted something to come through that people can go, yeah, yeah, it's everything's a mess. And a lot of the radio interviews that I've done recently and the reviews that have come through, even Heavy Mag did a review as well. The reviews have all echoed similar things like, um, oh my God, someone's written a real political song. Someone's not afraid to stick it out there and well, let it all hang out, as they say. And it's reminiscent of the 60s and 70s. The protest songs and the call to arms and call to action. And that's what the next song is going to be, and the next song after that's going to be as well. Real call to action, um, very sensitive family or community issues that I'm tackling that I think are ever so important. And I think musicians have been too scared about their careers or how they're seen through the filter of society, whether they're doing the right thing or saying the right thing or saying the wrong thing. But I'm just saying, I'm just like a reporter. I'm just reporting and writing what's happening and putting it to music.
And you're right. I mean, 60s, 70s, even up to the 90s, there were a lot of protest songs, especially in the punk genre, but also the metal. Like, there was a lot of Rage Against the Machine songs and Public Enemy and all that in the rap scene. But for the last 10, 15 years, there haven't been all that many. So I think Evil Minds is one of those songs where you think, all right, someone has done this, and because there are evil minds out there, like as you
Mhm,
mentioned, Netanyahu, Donald Trump, Putin.
mhm.
I could go on if I wanted to get political,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Even in
but
our own country.
oh yeah, there are in Australia as well. There's
Mm,
dictators.
yeah.
Oh, well, that actually leads to the next question, but you've sort of answered it to some degree. Is what has the overall response been like for Evil Minds?
Um, Amazing, overwhelming for me. I've never had commercial success before. Um, I've never had so many offers of radio interviews and and reviews and being able to do a national tour off the back of it successfully. And the response has just been, oh my God, a political song, something that reminds us of the 60s and 70s. Why haven't people been doing this? So I've been getting a lot of um, support, radio support, because people want to play this thing because they know that people want to hear this. They want to hear this song. And thankfully, I produced it well enough to be able to go pretty much global, if you want to say that, that it's been picked up across the board, not just in the niche area of pop rock or pop punk, but just across almost the whole spectrum. I've never had so much interest, and it's like you said, it's like it's not even been 2 months, and in that time, I've just had like about 15 radio interviews, like in less than 2 months, and that's just crazy for a independent, songwriter and producer. Um, and I think people just love it too. It's catchy. It stirs emotion as well. There's redemption. I like to have, like, when I'm tackling um songs that are controversial or have real tug at the heartstrings and everything like that, is have redemption in the song as well. So there is that part in the middle, in the refrain saying hold on to your dreams, that redemption, that even though there is the evil minds around us, that we can rise up above it all, even if we don't overthrow these rotten governments or anything like that. But we can just stand up and live our life. We don't have to live by those morals. We don't have to, as long as we don't break laws and as long as we don't hurt other people, we can stand up to those morals, ethics that we grew up with and go, yeah, right, stuff this. We're not going to have this anymore. And I think I've invoked a lot of that emotion in people across Australia. Um, it's been so well received. I don't know what to say. It's been very humbling experience, to be honest.
Nah, and I've got all but nice things to say about Evil Minds. It actually also might mention this now. I've forgotten what number it came in the countdown I was doing, but it actually made the best songs of 2020's Aussie and New Zealand bands countdown that I've been doing. Now, I don't
I
have
did
my
it.
don't have my phone in front of me, which is annoying because it's on the charge. It definitely came in. I felt like it was somewhere around 1400 maybe out of
Yeah,
2600. So it
yeah.
definitely made it, and I felt like it was either Fade Away or It's Never Easy. One of the others of those made it as well. I wish I had my list in
Wow,
front of
really,
me.
too.
Yeah, there was
Two
two
songs.
songs in
Yeah,
the countdown at least. There could have
yeah.
been a
Wow.
third. So
Yeah. Well, it's been quite amazing, these three songs. It's Never Easy, Fade Away, Evil Minds. First time I got picked up on like playlists, like for Apple Music. I got picked up on the new and rock and new and punk on Apple
wow.
Music. And Evil Minds is still on the New and Punk playlist. It's been on Apple Music since the 31st of October. I look every day, is it still there? Yes, it's still there. And, it's getting radio spins that I've never had before. And, it's been played in countries that I've never had my music played before. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say, but thank you so much for acknowledging
Oh,
a couple of my songs on your list.
always happy to do. I probably will send the numbers they came in when I send about insomnia later because I'll know then when they came in. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, but no, yeah, there's so much awesome music released this decade already, and like it's hard to just narrow it down to a certain amount of songs because there
Yeah,
was songs that missed out that people are probably like, oh, why wasn't this in? And it's like, well, if I did that, it'd be like 3,000 songs, and that's maybe a bit too many. So I had to cut it
that's
off
a
at
lot of
some.
songs. Yeah.
So,
Hey, once, yeah.
oh,
No, go
sorry.
ahead. I don't want to step on you. I don't want to step on your list.
Oh, no, no, you
I
go. I think I
I have a
interrupted
little
you.
emergency happening in the background here.
Oh, what's the
That I have to attend to very quickly, if that's okay.
Oh,
Whether
no,
you want
no.
to edit this out or whatever, but my doggy needs to go.
Oh, to the toilet.
Yes.
Yeah, no, 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 that's fine. I'll
Do you
just,
mind if I quickly
yeah, yeah,
let
no.
him know?
I'll,
Sorry about that.
no, no,
I'll
I'll
I'll, I'll
just,
be
uh,
I'll be right back, Sam.
that's
Okay.
fine, Jane. I'll talk about something. Actually, I might go find my phone and tell you the numbers where those songs came in, actually.
John.
All right.
John.
So if
I'll
anyone
see you back
sees
here.
this and there's 50 seconds without me or Jane, don't worry, it's not your YouTube. It's just we've disappeared for a little while.
That's it.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. I was just I'm gonna try and find my phone and see if I can find where those two songs came in from Flowers for Jane. But no, I'm really enjoying this interview at the moment. As I said, Jane will be back briefly. The time's just flown. How is it 55 minutes already? It only feels like we just started this interview. Literally. But I guess that is what happens. All right. So, yeah, just bear with me for a second. There was, yeah. Why is my phone not Oh, load you stupid phone. Oh, my God. All right. Let's see if we can find where those songs came in because they definitely were in there. Posts. Let's see. Uh, where is it? Anyway, find yeah. But no, it's nice day outside here in Warragul, and yeah, it's I can't believe how quickly the time's gone with the interview. It only feels like we literally just started, which always happens with interviews, but doesn't bother me. But yeah, we'll have a little break, and Sam's just getting his phone up, which is not. Why is my phone so slow at loading at the moment? Ugh. I'm trying to figure out whether
Because you want to find something.
it's because I want to find something, and it's bugging the hell out of me at the moment, Jane, because I'm trying to find the songs that made that countdown, and Spotify's doing what Spotify always seems to do and plays up. So,
Well, you get what you pay for, don't you?
yeah, that
Oops. Did I
last
say that?
that last minute and a half of Sam bagging out Spotify, this might get me chucked off YouTube.
No, I don't know. I mean, look, what's that? It is what it is. I mean, this is the world that we live in, and as a musician, you have to work with the tools, and And yeah, the things that are given to you, Spotify is one of them. I know some bigger artists are pulling their catalogs off, but I don't think independent artists can afford to do that. We need to utilize as many tools and outlets and platforms as there are available to us. So, and I hear Spotify is actually going lossless format now, so they're going to go up against Tidal and Apple on that,
Mm.
which they should have in the first place. You got to respect the music. I mean, um, musicians such as me, especially self-funded, and to put together productions like Flowers For Jayne does is not an inexpensive exercise. And so it's kind of like, yeah, the platform should give the credit to the artist at least to actually play it in a format that does the production justice. Something like that, anyway.
So I just looked at the list, and yeah, both It's Never Easy and Evil Minds made the countdown.
Wow. Poor old fadeaway, huh?
Uh,
It just
the,
faded away.
well, actually, I might let some people in on something. I didn't think I was going to do this, but a lot of radio stations do this. You know, what are the 100 songs that just missed the countdown? On Tuesday, I am actually going to reveal the 100 songs that just missed out on the countdown.
Ah,
So I'm wondering, is Fade Away in there? Have I
well,
given something away there?
stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned for a prize.
Yeah.
A
So
surprise.
2,700 to 2,601. The 100 songs that just missed out will be announced on my Facebook page on Tuesday at some stage. So look out for it.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I didn't realise that I was even on the list. I've been seeing your list come through the last couple of days and having a look and just having a quick scan going, am I there? Am I there? Am I there? And, but I'm there apparently, so that's nice. And, I'm really thankful for that. Thank you, Sam.
Oh,
And I'm thankful to a lot of the radio stations who have actually listed Evil Minds recently, and AMRAP came in at I think number 7 on the metal indie charts, and also number 15 on the regional charts. The Evil Minds. So it's the first time I've ever charted as well, and being put on all these lists. So it's just crazy. It's lovely.
I think even if you came in at number, like if it was out of 20 bands on the list, if you were at 20, I think that's as important as any other number because you've
Oh,
charted somewhere.
yeah. Any sort of recognition is, it doesn't matter where you come. It's recognition of the work, and someone has to come first, and someone has to come 20th, and someone has to come 17th. We can't all be number ones. And of
Being
course, that's subjective as well. To the listener, because for a listener, a number one for them might be a 77, and a number 63 might be a number 2 for them. So, but if you're on someone's radar, well, that I think that's probably one of the biggest compliments you can be paid.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree more with that. I think even if someone shares your song or they review it or tag you in a post,
Mm,
I mean that's as important as anything as well.
yeah, I get messages sometimes where people just send me a message and go, "Oh wow, Jane, I've just been listening to such, and wow, what a great song! I didn't realize that you write really good songs." And it's just like because Flowers for Jane's been going for 2019, it's taken 6 years. you know, for that some of that recognition to come through. But I just hope it continues.
Definitely. And I would strongly suggest everyone to check out Flowers for Jane after this interview because, yeah, important to watch the interview as well, but also check out the music
Yeah.
that is being created
Oh,
by.
absolutely. And can I just say, like, Flowers for Jane, Jane is spelled Jayne. Because if you just do a normal Jane Flowers for Jane, you'll just get a whole bunch of florists, and they're not very good to listen to. So, um, yeah, Flowers for Jane, Jayne, and we're on all major streaming platforms. You can even jump to our website, flowersforjane.com, to listen if you don't have the streaming platforms. And also we've got merch there as well. Um, T-shirts and tote bags and lots of nice things. And people are buying CDs now, like off my website and from my distributor. So I've never had CDs from my distributor before because I'm just a little, I'm just a little thing in this whole big picture. And it's just great, that's acknowledgement. Someone wants to actually buy your CD and play it at home, so it's lovely.
Yeah. And it's better to buy the CD than to give money to Spotify, honestly. I know it's
Absolutely.
controversial as that sounds, and Spotify do not seem to like me. But it's true. I mean,
Oh,
it's, yeah.
Spotify. Ah, right. Because
Uh,
your
th-
podcast would be, yeah,
there's a
on,
long,
on the platforms too, wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah, there's a long story
Oh,
into what Spotify did to the audio one, but everyone's heard it a million times. I won't go into it again.
of
But
course. Yeah, you get less than so many streams. It doesn't even factor, and you don't get money from it.
no,
And I don't get how people think that music should be for free. I
mm,
mean, it'd be like, okay, so to make music, you need money, right? Money to buy instruments, money to rehearse, money to record, money to press, money to release. And it'd be like me saying, I'll come and knock on your door. You've just bought some really nice steak, you know, done up some really nice roast vegetables and stuff. And I just come and sit down at the table and go, yeah, I'll have a plate. Oh, who are you? Oh, you were listening to my music for free. I just thought I'd have a free feed while I'm here as well. It'd be like someone just coming in and expecting, to eat off your table, the money that you used to buy your food, the time that you spent in preparing that food, you know, and all of that. Just next time you're thinking about music should be free, everyone out there is just, would you have a stranger sit at your table and all the food that you bought and prepared, would you allow them to eat it for free every day?
that's a very good way of looking at it. Actually,
Mm,
mm, yeah, I hadn't
right?
seen like I. I can sort of see that no one should be getting music for free because the fact is that
Mm,
the musicians and bands put so much money, time, and effort into recording music and buying
yeah.
instruments and doing all that stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know how Spotify live with themselves sometimes, and I know that sounds controversial, but it's.
Oh, I think if you're a billionaire, it'd be pretty easy to live with yourself. You know, they obviously went. I think people that they do live with themselves because they've gone in with an idea anyway. It isn't like overnight that they become a-holes or anything like that. They were already a-holes before they started doing it. They knew exactly what they were doing. They're in it for the buck. They're in it
Mm.
for the money, you know. But I can understand why you say, how could they live with themselves? Well, I don't know. I know there's some very evil-minded people out there.
Ah, like that pun to go with Evil
Right.
Minds title.
That's right. And that's what it's about, It's like the people, like, I just thought, when I was writing that song and the lyrics, I just thought, like, wow, things really haven't changed in the last 1,000 years at all. They still live in castles. They still, we're all running around like little ants, blah, 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 soldier ants and worker ants doing all the work while they're sitting at their big tables, sitting on, $200 cups of coffee and a little bit of fish eggs that will cost $10 million or whatever, you know? But, but but would you do it yourself? That's what I would ask myself. Would I do that myself? No, well, no, I couldn't do that. I think it takes a particular type of person to pretty much, what do you call it? Um, make
Con-
money off others,
mm,
capitalize, use, abuse. I could use all of those words. Maybe I'll get chucked off Spotify or something now, you know? Yeah. Well, it takes a special type of person to be like that. Like it takes a special type of person to be charitable. It takes another type of person to be non-charitable.
no, it's you can't. But the point of you don't grow up overnight being an arsehole, though. If you're an arsehole back, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You don't become overnight. You go in with you're that type of person. You have that type of mind and stuff. Can you hear that dog in the background?
Oh, only vaguely, not much actually. It's
Ah, that's puppy doggies. That's okay. Please don't eat that person. Thank you. Yeah. I
it's
just trying to
not
stop my dog from eating people.
it's not the
Yeah.
first time Jane a dog has barked on an interview. I remember this is probably about the first 5 interviews I did. In the audio one, a dog walked past a window, and the people I was interviewing had a dog in the window, and all I heard for about 45 seconds was barking non-stop. So your dog, I barely even heard that. Like, I did hear a bit of it, but it wasn't, it was barely
Yeah.
noticeable.
I, I think it's all this new technology with noise cancelling microphones and everything like that. So, yeah. There you go.
So what does 2026 hold in store for Flowers for Jane?
Wow, I have plans. I do. I have plans. I'm We're going into the recording studio in January to record 2 singles. The first one will be released in April, and I'm embarking on another national tour in April. And that will be Brisbane, Mid North Coast, New South Wales, Central Coast, New South Wales, Canberra, Sydney, South Coast, New South Wales, Melbourne, and Adelaide. And I've almost got all of the venues locked down. I've got 8 out of 11 dates already locked down. So, um, and if anyone's listening in too, if you're in Melbourne or Adelaide and you've got a band, I haven't locked down the lineups for Adelaide and Melbourne yet. Most of the other ones are, but Adelaide and Melbourne I still have open. So if you're watching this and you want to get on a bill with Flowers for Jayne, will just hit me up and let's have a chat. And then the next single is going to be released in September. And then I'm probably just going to do a New South Wales coast tour because national tour is really huge to try and put together. And and then I want to do another two singles, record another two singles in the middle of the year. And then I want to do another tour in November, quite a big one. I want to release an album. And I'm going to release an album of singles, an album of all the singles, right? Because they're all digital and they're all on streaming platforms. So I'd like to have something that people can take home or listen to them at their own time. So I want to write two more new singles for that album, and a culmination of the best of the Flowers for Jayne singles to date. I'm actually even thinking of writing a Christmas song. Yeah, yeah, like something like "Hey Santa, park your sleigh next to the barbecue." You know, something like that. You know,
Sounds really Australian. Santa
it
park your
does,
sleigh
doesn't it?
next to the
Lay
barbecue.
next to the Barbie, right? I would. I see what happens. I don't want to force it, like I don't want to force it, but I kind of like ran it past the guys and a couple of friends, and they laughed. I said, "That's what I want. I want laugh. That's the reaction I want. That it's comical. That it's silly. Silly sells, right? Look at silly string. Anyway, so that's what I like to do. Yeah, so that's going to take a lot of work. Personally, I actually just finished my diploma of counselling, so I want to give back to the music industry as well, by being a counsellor for musicians. Yeah, because we do it tough. So that's another thing I like to interweave with Flowers for Jayne is doing some counselling as well.
Sounds like a very busy planned 2026 coming up then.
Yes, yes, lots of gigs, lots of new music. Um, this new band I have is amazing. This rhythm section I have, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that grows over the next year. I want to get overseas as well. Might be able. I don't know. I'm looking at seeing if I can get on the bill for There's a Halloween ball in Tokyo.
Oh, nice.
That's huge. Yeah. That happens about mid-October. Wouldn't mind getting on that bill and heading over to Japan. Yeah.
Seems to be a lot of Australian artists and bands that are playing in Japan at the moment, which is awesome
And
to
so
see.
yeah. A lot of bands that I know and a lot of bands in the West have been there, and I know the Glycerines from Brisbane are going to head to Japan as well this year. So I'm going to see how my trail blazing buddies do, and I'll pick their brains. I'll pick their brains when they get back from Japan and see if I can get. I've even noticed actually on Apple Music that Japan's actually picked up Evil Minds as well. It's in the top 5 countries playing Evil Minds at the moment.
Wow.
So I might have a look in there soon.
Top five, Japan. Well, that's great because, I mean, getting on that Hollow Sween gig, and if you're in the top five countries with Japan playing your song, that's a good starting point.
It's a good sign, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the USA is the number one country playing the
Wow.
song at the moment. Australia was originally, and now the USA is the top country playing Evil Minds, and so I'm getting very excited at the moment. It's getting some good traction. So, and that's just from releasing it in Australia. So I might. I actually was looking at it today. I have a radio promoter in Sweden that I've used before. I might do like a global release, um, and see what that happens. Because it's doing really well, and I might like spend a penny to see if I can get some more traction overseas.
And to have, yeah. promoters and that all around the world, not just here in Australia, but as you said with Sweden, they've probably got contacts over there and different parts of
Yeah,
the world. It's all
yeah,
going to be helpful.
yeah. Well, the first couple singles did quite well as international releases, and I used that radio promoter. And I even had a Billboard writer interested in one of the songs, but I haven't seen that person again. So I wanna try and get that interest again in the Northern Hemisphere. And now that's done really well in Australia, and it's still going well. It might be time to sort of revisit promoting on a global basis again, which of course costs money. So people play my song, buy my song, so I can get it around the world, please. That wasn't pathetic, was it? Okay,
No, no. Self promoting's not pathetic. It's good. You
there you
need
go.
to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
encourage the
So
self promoting.
yeah, yeah, and they're good songs. They are good songs, and I like the fact that people get um joy from listening to my music, and that people will write to me and say, "Oh wow, Jane, you know your song got me for a really tough time," or there was messages in that song that brought back some great memories, or there was messages in the song that inspire people to do things in their life and maybe go the next step themselves in their lives. So
Mm,
yeah,
inspiration, getting people through tough times. Those are like people that send those sorts of messages. Like as a musician or band, you hear that, and it's like it really does make you feel like you're making a difference. Which Flowers for Jane is making a difference to a lot of people.
that's right. Yeah, I just don't, like, of course you want people like moshing in the mosh pit and coming to gigs and enjoying, but I think it's just as important too that um, people can like share the music or just keep it for themselves. They can be a little bit selfish. That's my song, you know. That's what I love about music, is people may have a different interpretation to what you actually wrote, but they own it for themselves, and that's what it's about, you know. Inspiring, helping, healing, guiding, mentoring, all of those things I think is important. And that's what I love about writing, is getting messages out to people that they share the same dreams, hopes, and sorrows even.
Totally. And I think also that anyone that is watching this episode and is when wonders whether they should message a band or artist and say, a song helped you through a tough time or, it's inspiring, do make sure you message these bands or share their music because
Mm,
I mean, you know, I I love what the way I share bands' music and reach out to bands and all that. And yeah, I think if that band or artist, one message means more than I think what a lot of people might not actually realize how much it means because
mm,
someone's listening to their music. It's pretty impressive
yeah,
and pretty exciting.
yeah, yeah. I have some people write and go, "Oh, Jane, I've listened to your song over and over again, and wow, I'm really getting it now." Because lyrics can be a little bit sort of cryptic and poetic, um, and like that. But the more you listen to it, and people are starting to get a lot from my lyrics, and that's what they're intended for. I don't write the lyrics because it makes me feel good, or I've written some lyrics. Is that that's the message of the day for me. That's the message of the day that I like to share with others, and that's the message of the day that I like others to share with others as well. Yeah.
And
I'm
that's
a sharing, caring girl.
yeah. Oh, during this interview has certainly shown that side to it, and it does with all the bands and artists I interview. It's yeah, what you see is what you get. You know,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much my motto. A lot of people say how easy I'm to talk to or down to earth. It's like what you see is what you get. I don't have an ego. I'll talk to anyone, talk about
Hmm.
anything. As weird as this sounds, I find it easier talking to people I've never met than people I actually do know, which sounds weird, I
Yeah.
know. But
Hmm.
I think it's just because there's so much more you don't know about the person on the other end that you've never met than someone you've known your whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I encourage people to reach out to musicians and writers and give your feedback. Even if you say, "Oh, I didn't really like your song," you know, that's okay too. I mean, and say why you didn't like it because that helps us. Because that's what because without listeners there isn't music. There's no musicians without listeners. There's no music without listeners. It's a symbiotic relationship. So I would love feedback, and if I can do a better job as being a musician and a writer because of the feedback, I go, well, that's what you get at work, don't you? You're a better mechanic because someone comes like, yeah, you could do it like this, and just. But the same with music. Please, please. I mean, you don't have to be insulting, or anything like that. If you don't like something, just say why you don't like it, and that might say to the musician, "Oh, well, thank you for that, because maybe I'll think about that when I'm writing in the future." As well. I think it's important. We can't always get pats on the back all the time, and that balance as well, the balance of good and bad and evil. Throw that word in again. But balance is so important. So yeah, I welcome anyone. I'd rather hear the compliments, of course, but if someone has a practical and a critical mind, that they feel, hey, I think you missed the mark here, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I've just invited hundreds of people to come at me and say, yeah, hopeless. Write something decent. No, I don't think that's going to happen. But
Nah.
yeah, but honesty is important because that's what music, that's what lyrics is. That's us being honest about ourselves, us being honest on how we view the world, and that honesty is its feedback is equally as important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I've only really got two more questions, Jane, because I feel like we've covered so much stuff that actually
Hmm.
has been answered already. And one of the last questions is, where do you see Flowers for Jane in 5 years' time?
Right. Well, hopefully the Earth still exists in 5 years' time because I really worry about the state of the world. Flowers for Jane. I hope we're still playing. I hope we grow. I hope we get to play to bigger audiences and more audiences around the world. I hope we get overseas in the next 5 years. Um, I see Flowers for Jane doing the same as doing now, producing really good music, putting on excellent performances, right? Producing quality merchandise and also being very open to speaking to people, whether it be at the gig, an email, message, or whatever. I think Flowers. I hope Flowers for Jane is a household name in 5 years' time.
And I
Yeah,
think they're very achievable dreams. And 5 years, in the music scene here in Australia, a lot can happen in 5 years' time. And I reckon
yeah.
if Flowers for Jane keep going the way they are, then I can see them
Mhm.
being a household name in 4 to 5 years, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, um, like. some of this, of course, in the music industry is pie in the sky stuff, but I've put a lot of hard work in, the last 5, 6 years. I've set the foundations. I've got strong foundations. I play with the best musos, you know, and just the supporters are just really nice as well. And I just want to keep on doing that, positive, strong messages that people that invoke conversation, communication, invoke change. I hope I can change the world a little bit to be a better place through Flowers for Jayne.
And that
Yeah.
small change in the world, it might only be 5 to 10%, but
Mm.
that's just as
Even point,
important.
yeah, even 0.01%. You know, um, songs are powerful, lyrics are powerful. Um, we did see a lot of change in the 60s and 70s because of music. Music's become very commercial. I want to get back to that again. That, you're basically promoting change for the better, of course. Um, and that you're reaching people and you're starting those conversations and people are trying, hey, you hear that Flowers for Jane song? Wouldn't it be great if the world was like that? You know, that we could all communicate like that or speak to each other like that or actually express our opinions without fear? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Same as the musicians. It's a fearless vocation. You're putting yourself and your heart and everything like that. Wouldn't it be great if we could um, invoke change by people saying, well, Flowers for Jane did it. I can do it too.
I like that attitude. I like that look on things as well. I think it's a very important role or important words that are being spoken there, definitely. And
Thank you.
yes, I won't repeat it because that would be just taking someone else's words and using them as
Oh,
mine,
yeah, I'm
which
quite happy. I'll just quite happy for you to use it. I'll just take 10%. Thank you. Yeah.
I like that. I like that at the end. I'm happy for you to take it, but here I need to take 10%. Thank you.
So yeah, just thank you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, got my slice of the pie, thanks. So yeah.
And what advice would you give to bands and artists starting out in the music industry?
Be realistic. Yeah. Especially the younger bands, like the older musicians, we kind of know that you're not going to instantly get the champagne on the yacht. I've had that said to me so many times when I was younger. Guys, you'll be drinking champagne on the yacht next year, like never happens. Oh, so to some it does. Be realistic about um, your goals and your dreams and what you wish to achieve, because it is a tough industry. Um, practice, 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 practice. And I'm not talking in the rehearsal room and I'm not talking on stage. I'm talking about in your bedroom. Practice, 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 practice. That's where your power is going to start, right? Within yourself and with your own abilities. Um, Also, be if you're going to get knockbacks, so resilience is so important. You're going to get more knockbacks than you are going to get acceptance when you're first starting out. Okay, and that just goes with the territory. It goes with anything in life. Um, Perseverance as well, the resilience, perseverance. If you totally believe in what you're doing, doesn't matter how much money you're spending, doesn't matter how much time it is, if it gives you enjoyment, brings you joy in your life, um, gives you value in your life, well, it's going to flow onto others and give others value and enjoyment as well. And the last thing I would say is have a bunch of fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take the industry too seriously because they ain't serious about you half of the time. Believe me. So just, yeah, have fun, be resilient, be patient, but most of all, make sure that you practice your craft to the point where you could be termed a world class musician. Because there are world class musicians out there who aren't playing on the world stage, but they are world class musicians, right? Um, and also, um, make sure you keep your work life balance, your family, and band balance. Family's important. They're going to be the people that are going to be there for you when things aren't quite working out. So make sure that your networks are strong. Make sure your support networks are strong, and keep yourself fit and healthy and happy.
Very,
That's about
very.
it, really.
That's a lot of sound advice, though, for anyone starting out or people in general in life. I mean, if you
Yeah,
have those values and those things, I mean, yeah. I think the big one to take out of all that, though, is the be realistic. I think that's the
really.
one.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. If you're going to take anything away from that, is be realistic, because if you're not going to realistic, you're going to let yourself down. If you let yourself down, you know you're going to crash emotionally. Your mental health is going to suffer. So being realistic is actually protecting yourself from those sorts of things.
And that can be for life as well. Like anyone that's saying, oh,
Mm,
tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire or tomorrow I'm going to be in the biggest band in the world. That's
yeah,
not really realistic. But if you said, I'm going to, maybe start a band and, start my journey in becoming a musician. And in 5 years' time, I hope to have a couple of singles out or an
mm,
EP. That is
mm,
realistic because
yeah,
that is realistic goals that most bands and artists right at the moment are achieving, and even some more
yeah.
than that.
Yeah, and plus flexibility as well. Going with the realism is that okay, you might start out as a guitarist or a singer or something, but you may not end up like that. You might end up as a sound engineer. You might end up as a promoter. You might end up as a manager, a booker, a makeup artist, a choreographer, a videographer. There are so many um, different career paths in the music industry, and what you start out as, be flexible, have your eyes open for opportunity, because what you start out as may not be what you end up as, and be happy with that too, because you're still part of the music industry, and it can be a wonderful place for you. You hear the horror stories and everything like that, all right. But I'm still going after, oh my God, age myself, doesn't matter. I was in the Lime Spiders one night. I've been going for over 40 years now, right? And I've just realized some mild commercial success after 40 years, right? So be kind to yourself. It may not, I'll probably do a Rachel Hunter thing here. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen, right? But it may not be exactly the way that you envisaged. So be happy if at least you're part of something, that you enjoy. Yeah, that's what I think. Flexibility with the being realistic.
No, couldn't agree more. And you heard it from the person that's in a band and been a musician for 40 years. And that's about as realistic as it can be put.
Thank you so much, Sam.
No worries. Oh, you know what I don't like, Jane? There's one thing I don't like about interviews, and I say this every time, is
Okay.
the is when we have to finish up eventually. Is the
I was
only
gonna,
I
I was
don't
thinking
like
that
it.
you don't want it to end, do you?
No, and this is no exception. I've had literally the best time talking to Jane and finding out so much about Flowers for Jane. And everyone's like, what's the one thing you always say you want the interview to do? And every time I answer it with, the only thing I don't want it to happen is the end of the interview because I
Yeah.
love every minute of it and I've loved every minute of this.
I have too. It's been very enjoyable. I'm very thankful that you invited me onto your show. I'm really looking forward. I might even watch it back. I'm looking forward to sharing it with my friends. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing you when I come to Melbourne. I hope you'll come along to a show.
Well, April's actually a pretty quiet time for me with work because outside of Easter, because I'm in hospitality, April's pretty
Yeah,
dead.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and
So,
no,
yeah. So May, I think
oh,
May we're going to be in Melbourne. So
well, that's even better,
yeah,
probably actually,
yeah.
because it's the
Probably be
colder
five
months.
degrees or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe a little bit more than 5 degrees, maybe
Oh,
7.
6 degrees. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but
I know I'm going to be bringing more clothes next time.
I definitely want to come and see Flowers for Jane, so I will make
I love
sure.
that.
I actually don't have any gigs lined up after March yet at all. There's only two in March and then there's
Yeah,
nothing. So there's my first
yeah.
one in May.
No, I'll definitely send you all the promo and everything. Yeah.
No.
So
And
there you go.
I'll definitely make sure I'm there. I love the cherry bar. So many good memories of the cherry bar.
Yeah,
Too many to
definitely.
remember
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Bring a friend. Hmm.
Yes, I will make sure because I always say to people, you say you want to go to gigs and you see me going to them, make sure you turn up.
Absolutely. That's what we need. If we have a very strong message to say at the end of this segment, this show, is that too many people complain, oh my God, another venue's closed down. Oh my God, why aren't bands playing anymore? It's because you're not turning up. It's because, and if it rains, well, it's water. It ain't gonna kill you. If it's cold, put a jacket on. If it's raining, take an umbrella. If it's too hot, well, I don't want to go there. But, right, um, um, what I really want to say is, when Taylor Swift, her Eras tour came through, a couple of the shows, there was lots of rain. I didn't see people not turn up because of the rain, right? So please do the same for your local musicians. You know, no matter what it is. As long as it's safe to do so, of course. We don't want you going out in major thunderstorms, with flooding roads. But if there's a bit of drizzle or something like that, just get in there because guess what? Most of the gigs are indoors, right? you know, and so I want to see people, like not complaining about, oh, why has this happened? It's happened because of inaction, you know. So get out there, have a look. It doesn't cost much. Most bands are only charging $10, $15. Right? You compare that to the $500, $600 that's going to cost you to see Kiss or whatever or whoever, right? It's 10, $15, right? Go without 3 cups of coffee that week and get yourself out to a really good band because there's some really great stuff out there.
Certainly is. And the other important key to not just going to the gig, pre buy your tickets. I am sick to death of
Thank you.
hearing
Thank
people
you.
say
Yeah,
I'll buy it on the night, it'll be cheaper. It's not cheaper on the night. It's cheaper to buy
no.
pre sale by a mile.
That's right. It is. Usually is. It's like $5, $10 cheaper to buy online. You're helping to guarantee that that show's going to go ahead as well. Because you might turn up and go, oh, I'll buy the tickets at the door. Oh, they're not playing tonight. Why aren't they playing? Because they didn't sell pre-sale tickets, right? And and even if, like, it's $10, $15, Even if you can't turn up and there's no refunds, it's $10, $15. Like seriously. And you know, pre-sale tickets, buy merch as well. Buy merch. Even if you never wear the t-shirt, it might be a good gift. Pay it forward. Pass it on. You may not have a CD player, but you might know someone who does have a CD player and likes similar music to you. Buy a gift, right? There's lots of great merchandise items that Flowers for Jayne sell and other bands sell. Just buy something. Not huge. Yeah. And you wouldn't believe. Okay, so that one CD that you buy at a gig, a band would have to like have 50, 100,000 streams to earn that money that they would from a CD. And plus they recoup their costs because they've recorded it, they've pressed it, and everything like that. You know, go on, get out there tonight, now, go on, off you go, jump online, buy your ticket. I'll see you at the show.
Good way to end. Perfect way to end the
Nice.
interview, actually. All
Mm,
right, Jane. Well, I've had a pleasure as always. I will send you the link probably, yeah, tomorrow's at some stage. And I've
fabulous.
also put together a Spotify playlist as I do weekly ones with local bands and artists. Flowers for Jane are on there with Fade Away. It's never easy. Also, Even Mind's a couple of other songs, so you'll feature at the top of the list.
That's who I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, I will see you in Melbourne, my friend.
No worries, but we will stay in touch between now and then. I'd love
Oh,
to have
definitely.
Jane back on, and anyone out there is always welcome on the
Yeah.
podcast any
I'd
day.
love to. Love to.
All right,
Okay.
Jane, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll stay in touch.
Okay. Okay. See you, Sam.
See you, Jane. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.